everything that I've wanted, say like with mom or like with the next boyfriend, like I had to let that go, but it's had claw marks in it because I want to keep it back. Speaking to yourself in the way that you'd want someone else to speak to you is so important.
Very demure.
Yeah, demure.
Very mindful. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Welcome to another episode of the Waffle Shop podcast. Today's a special one because I'm joined by my beautiful little sister. You have to say it louder now.
Oh, hello.
You're waving at, they can't see you.
Hello.
It's a podcast.
I'm Gemma.
Silly I'm joking. No, it's Gemma. Silly cat.
Silly
You can't say that. That's the first time someone said that on here. But yeah, no, it's a special episode. Welcome to the studio. This is the first time you've seen it.
I know, it's massive. I thought it was just a little shed,
Yeah.
to be fair.
Not messing around now. This is actually, we've got to take it seriously.
I know. They smell a bit like hamsters, though.
It smells like hamsters.
Yeah. Like the dust, you know.
Well, I don't know if I can't smell it.
Oh.
It's not me, is it? Got to talk about hamsters. Do you want to talk about hamsters?
Taylor killed my hamster.
It was my hamster.
No, it was our hamster.
We bought it in the middle of a mental breakdown.
And then you didn't tell me that it died.
I didn't know it was dead.
Then you put it in the bin.
I thought it was hibernating. I don't think they hibernate when
probably
their
was.
bodies are decaying.
It was actually.
Yeah, it's bad. Well, I didn't know where else do you put a dead hamster?
In a box.
Oh, don't, because I might get cancelled by like an SPCC.
Oh, yeah.
Not an SPCC, that's kids.
God, this is a good term, isn't it?
I don't. Who look after animals? Vets.
Pets. Yeah.
PETA.
Peter.
Oh, what a great way to start.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show.
I know.
You were one of my first ever guests.
Second time coming. Has anyone else been on it twice?
Yes, quite a few people.
Oh.
Someone from Made in Chelsea who I'm not going to go into because they won't be coming back.
Oh,
yeah, we've got beef, but they're not on Made in Chelsea anymore. But there's still beef.
How the mighty fallen.
Yes, how the mighty have fallen. Yes, so they won't be coming back on. Yeah, no, a few people, but only the people that like there's actual conversations to be had. I wouldn't just have anyone back for the sake of having them back.
That's very true.
So, and ours was quite like, it was like Tessie, it was like smack bang in the middle of lockdown.
Yeah, it wasn't really serious, was it?
No, I think we just answered questions between the two of us.
Yeah.
And we were very different people back then.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, we'll save that because obviously the topic of today's show is change. But before we dive into it, obviously, you know by now because obviously you listen to every episode.
Yeah, of course I do.
How many have you actually listened to? Have you listened to? How many have you listened to?
I'm sorry. I don't listen to them. Like I watch the clips on Instagram because that's all
You don't like them though.
Yeah. No, that's all that my brain can allow me to do is like listen, like if I listen to the podcast fully, I hear you enough.
That is true.
Do you know what I mean? And I feel like it's your work that this is. So I'm like,
yeah, I wouldn't listen to you at work.
yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But before I did it as a job, you still didn't listen.
I listened to it like the first few, but then I was
The
like,
ones you were in.
yeah, obviously.
Obviously, hang on, I've got to introduce it. Well, people know what this is by now. The weekly waffle. Something that's pissed us off, get it off our chest, makes us feel better. I am really badly addicted to TikTok.
Oh yeah.
At the moment.
I think it's honestly destroyed my like capability to concentrate on anything.
Yeah.
Like I was like that anyway, but now I can't watch films, I can't watch TV shows, I can't read a book. Like
yeah. Oh my God, this is like a turn.
I know.
Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, because I'm just like on TikTok all the time and I have to have something like different.
Yeah.
Constantly.
I was going to ask you, do you think me opening this podcast was very demure?
Very mindful. Very tasteful.
Waffle Shop podcast. Very mindful.
Very
tasteful.
cutesy.
Very cutesy.
Demure.
It's driving me insane. It's either between that or I'm a female.
I haven't seen that one.
You haven't seen it?
No.
Oh my God. This man says, you're being aggressive. No, he was like,
Oh,
he's being aggressive.
The police officer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm a female.
Yeah, I have seen it.
It happened to us in Benidorm.
Oh,
we weren't allowed in somewhere, and someone pointed at Rianne and said, "He's not allowed in here." And Rianne, obviously, we've been saying it the whole holiday. Was like, "Hey, I'm a female nurse."
That's funny.
Yeah, it's good. But that's what's annoying me because I can't get it out of my head.
Yeah.
I'm the problem, obviously. Hi. Is there anything you'd like to get off your chest today that's pissing you off?
actually.
Oh, okay, straight
Today, I work with children and a child called me fatty.
Oh.
So that's really pissed me off.
Yeah.
Like, that was so unnecessary.
But do you think kids know the meaning? Well, they do. They do.
Because this word came out of nowhere. And all I did was ask them to sit on a chair and they said, no, fatty. And I was eating some jelly at this point, so maybe I was being a fatty, but...
No, jelly's good for you.
Exactly.
There's not very many calories in jelly.
So I was really pissed off with that, being called a fatty.
This is why I can't have kids.
Yeah, be called fatty.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Well, I don't think you're a fatty. I think
you.
you're lovely.
Thank you.
Lovely and bubbly.
Chunky.
I thought it'd be a good time to catch up.
Yeah.
Actually, because obviously there's been a lot gone on.
Yeah.
Not only, obviously, in 4 years, life has changed very dramatically.
Yes.
But even life recently, obviously, it's us.
Yeah.
Things
There's
are very
always-
dramatic, chaotic.
We're the problem.
We're not the problem. Stop saying that. They're the problem.
Yeah.
When I asked you if you wanted to come on,
Yeah.
I felt like I needed someone who had been there from day one to kind
Yeah.
of talk about this with,
I think
because
so.
I don't think I actually really appreciated quite the magnitude that this podcast holds.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah. And until when I was on holiday recently,
Yeah.
the podcast went to #1, which
Yeah.
is mental.
It's amazing.
But it was the first time, and I think props to the people that are with, that they made me celebrate.
That's good though. I think you deserve to celebrate something this big because you've been so used to how it's been, because it's been kind of like a journey that you've been on. So I don't think you've had time to step back and realise, oh shit, this is
What it is.
Yeah, it's what it is, and you need to celebrate how far you've come. You're very much like that. You don't allow yourself to see the good in things sometimes. You don't allow yourself to be celebrated by yourself or others. So you need to make sure that you put that in place.
Weird, isn't it? Should we
Yeah.
cheers to that?
Yeah.
I'm drinking Prosecco.
I've got a pina colada.
Cheers to the waffle. I took a big swig of that. I thought, I forgot that I was drinking
Mine's bloody lovely.
Prosecco. #1 in Austria.
Woo!
Surreal. To keep the celebrations going, also British Podcast Nominated Award.
That was crazy. Like when you sent me the message for it, I know you've been nominated for things before, and I thought not that it'd just be another one of them, but then I saw who you'd be up against, the things that have been sponsored by these other podcasts and stuff, and I'm like, this is such a massive opportunity. Even if I hope you win, I feel like you will win, but even if you don't, being there and still just being nominated, all of these opportunities that come from that, you never know what's going to come, which is crazy.
Thank you. No, it's mental.
Yeah.
And I think, again, I think this is the first time I'm actually allowing myself to see it. And I think, to be fair, when I found out of when to see Mum, and I said it to Mum, and she was like, Richard Hammond's off the telly. No, she doesn't speak like that. I don't know why. I don't know why I give her an accent. But she was like, these are the people that you're up against, and it's mental. To the fact that what started off as something almost as a bit of a let's see what happens.
Yeah.
To now, 4 years later, I'd be sat in my own studio.
Up against Richard Hammond.
And Gabby Logan. She was just at the bloody Olympics.
Bloody hell.
There's me. Come to Aldi. God, what a life, eh? And one final thing, and then we'll dive into what you've been, obviously, well, I will let you speak.
I know,
my first London date has just been announced. The tickets are available. They're in the link in my bio. Comedy.
I know.
I'm not funny.
Actually, you said the other day, I said to Taylor that he was naturally funny because he just is. And you said that you agreed, and you were expecting me to say that.
Don't say that on the show.
Well, I'm just letting the people
keep
know.
it humble. No, but I feel like if you know me,
Yeah.
I'm quite witty. I can I'll find the funny in the conversation. But if you were to kind of just let me go, I couldn't stand there and be funny.
Yeah, I think like stand-up comedy is like a completely different ballgame.
Yeah.
But I think
Like if someone said, "Tell me a joke."
you. But I feel like the wittiness that you have, even if it like people don't laugh at it, when it's silent, people laugh then.
Yeah, I've
So
got
it's
also
funny.
got what I used to think was a curse. I think my laugh makes people laugh.
Yeah,
So
I think we're both cursed with
Yeah.
that.
So if it all goes to shit,
Just
I'll just laugh.
I'll just be
And
sat
then-
there.
and then they'll laugh.
Yeah.
Then we'll all laugh in. So yes, tickets are available Saturday the 19th of October
Yes.
in London. There's only 30 tickets available, by the way. So it's a
Shit.
very kind of like intimate gig
I need to
that
get
I'm
mine.
doing.
Bloody hell.
So yeah, love to see you all there. But yeah, what have you been up to? Tell me everything.
What have I been up to?
Scream.
I can't speak about Taylor Swift. No. I went to see Taylor Swift on Friday.
Yeah, I've heard it was quite the spiritual.
I had the best time of my life. I cried my eyes out like for 3 hours straight, and I didn't think it would get to me. Like, I think you know this feeling, like when music just speaks to you.
Yes.
And it sounds, I hate being like that girl, being like, I love Taylor Swift, but she really speaks to me. And there was just so many songs, like one reminded me of Mom,
Yeah.
that made me cry, like it's making me emotional now. There's and just like the songs just about how she got through things, and like people have painted her out to be such a bad person, but she still gets through it all. So
Yeah.
it was a complete, I think it's just like changed my life, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I feel like
Is that
I'm
why
in
your
a-
voice is all a bit
Yeah,
still?
yeah,
Nearly a
yeah.
week
I've
later.
lost my voice. No, but I feel like I'm just like in a new era, the Taylor Swift era tour.
No, but you are in a new era. And
Yeah.
this is again why I asked you to come on and talk about this, because it's not just the stuff that I've just mentioned. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. Like, yeah, whoop, go on. But I think the real successes, especially between me and you, is how far we've actually come.
Yeah,
Like there's not many people,
definitely.
especially siblings, that went through something as horrific as we
Yeah.
did.
and still come out.
Still, but not
The
only
other
come out the other
side.
side, I feel like we came out the other side
Yeah.
better people.
I think it taught us a lot, and even now, just like being your own person, I think we've come such a big way from where we were before, which
Definitely.
is amazing.
And to end this little segment with something that I learned from Taylor Swift, I cannot remember the song, so you're going to absolutely batter me for this, but there's a song that she sings, obviously,
Yeah.
she's a singer, about, what did she do? She took the bricks and built a castle.
Yeah.
For all the shit they threw at me. What song is
Are you
that?
on about Who's Afraid of Little Old Me?
No, it's
Oh.
1989, I think.
Oh,
Baby, I can build a
Baby
castle.
Only Romantics.
And that's the one. Yeah.
All the shit they threw
You
at
at
me.
Yeah, look at us now, sat in our own castle.
I know. 'Cause every day is like a battle.
Okay, that's
Okay.
enough. I'll get them for royalties.
I know, she'll see
She's
you.
got enough money. So the real reason I wanted to,
Yes.
I was about to say conversate. I've never used that word in my
Even a
life. But one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you in today and have a chat about, obviously because I've missed you, two, because I wanted to hear all about Taylor Swift, but three, is because with all this kind of stuff going on at the moment, I'm feeling very reflectful.
Yes.
And there's a lot of talk around change.
Yeah.
And I've been journaling a lot recently, and I've been I always keep coming back to this word change.
Yeah.
And it's like the pivotal moments that changed us, or the different paths that we've taken, and this, that, and the other, and the impact that it's actually had.
Yeah.
And I was like, I feel like I need to talk about this.
Yeah.
And then when I was kind of thinking about like, well, who do I talk about this with? I was just like, well,
Obviously
obviously
me.
the one person who has been there through
Yeah.
every change.
Single. Yeah.
So obviously that's why you're here. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I wanted to talk firstly about the positive change.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy. Like if you were to write down everything that we kind of went through together over the past like
God,
4 or 5 years.
Forever.
No, it's been longer than that. 7 years.
Yeah,
since everything happened with Mom. I don't think there's many people that would have a positive outlook or take the positives from
the negatives. Yeah.
So I want to get your opinion on that. Like, do you look back at it now? Obviously, I know it was horrendous. And can you find the positives in that?
Yeah, I think it took a while for me to get to that point, but all I see now when I look back is positive. Like, I see no negative in any of it. I think, obviously, it was horrific then, but it made us who we are. Like, in some ways, it's not nice to grow up quicker than you're meant to, but at the same time, I'm so happy that I grew up the way that I did that fast. Like, because when I look at other people that are my age or some that are older, they are children and I feel fine. Like, my mental state is great. Like, the way I look at things, like, I'm so positive with everything. And I think that's from having to go through such a shit time that it's made me be that positive, like, with pretty much everything now.
God, I got a lump in my throat. No, it's so refreshing to hear you say that because I felt a huge amount of guilt feeling that when I was looking back. I was like, do you know what, that was horrendous, but who can I talk to and say, well, I'm glad that happened? Yeah,
me too. I'm not so glad it happened, but like,
no, there's obviously elements of it that I wish that didn't happen, but
I'm glad because it's made us so much more independent now. Like, I have no stress in having to, I don't know, like, go shopping, food shopping, having to, like...
You have no stress going food shopping.
I do, actually, I do. No, but, like, things like that, like, or even just, like, next year I want to move out with my friend, so I don't think I'll have any stress, really, with that, because I know what it feels like having to live without your parent there. Yeah. So...
Oh my God. Do you know what? I've never looked at it like that.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. But it's oh my God, what's happening? God, what's in that for a second? Quite a lot of this is very surreal to me because I feel like history has in some weird way repeated itself when everything happened with, like, when Mum and Dad, like, divorced and stuff, and obviously I took the brunt of that.
Yeah.
Then I went through this kind of, like, weird change. And then now, when everything happened with Mum, I almost took to it like a duck to water. Because I was like, well, I know how to run a house. I know how to do all these things because I've kind of been doing it. Right. So to kind of hear you then say, this is the goal. Yeah. I know how to do it. I'm going to be okay.
Yeah, I think that pretty much came from you. Like,
no, we're not going to do that.
Okay.
No, we're not going to go down that road.
But I did. But yeah, like, it came from all of these things that I'd seen as negative. I think I had such a great time, like, bearing in mind, like, Mum not being there, like, push that to the side, that's another thing, but I had such a fun, like, great time, like, during lockdown. Like, we used to, like, eat takeaway every day.
We did.
We used to watch RuPaul's Drag Race and go to sleep.
Oh, we did.
And honestly, that was the best time of my life.
For 2 years.
Yeah, and it was great. I loved it.
No, but it's like, you know what? It's nice to actually be sat here laughing like, about it because I think there's a lot of the stuff that happened. Yeah. It nearly destroyed us. Yeah, it very nearly. It did, but it's so nice to look back and be like, do you know what? We got through it. We got through it.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks to RuPaul.
No, mine is Drag Race.
There is a dark side that comes with change, and I want to get your opinion on this because with anything, like, there comes growth, change. You know, we wouldn't have winter, summer if things didn't change. So obviously things are supposed to change. Yeah. There is a stigma around it, I feel. And I feel like it comes from people who are so used to getting a certain version of you. Yeah. So then 100%. When you do switch things up and they're no longer getting what they need from you, it becomes a problem. Yeah. And I feel like with us especially, we became the problem. Yeah. And then that started filtering into our mindset a little bit, thinking we are the problem. Where do you sit with that now? Like, what's your opinion on that?
I think it's a tricky one because as much as I say, like, I see everything as a positive thing, with that, that's kind of the one thing that does get to me a little bit. Like, I've worked hard to not let other people's opinions get to me, and I'm fine with whatever people think of me. It's whatever. But when it's a narrative that isn't you, like, you know deep well down that isn't you, and they've created this narrative of you, when all you've done is change for the better, like you've just grown up. Like, I'm 23 now, and I think a lot of people didn't realise back then I was 16, 17. Like, they don't like the thought that I've changed. I became a woman now and I have my own mind. So that, I think, it's a bit hard because I have this view of that I'm like this child when actually I'm not. I think I'm quite
I think a lot of people don't realise that you were the driving force behind almost, I would probably say, a good 90% of the decisions that I made. Not because you were forcing me to make a decision, but more because the decisions and the stuff that I was having to make were for yours and Mum's benefit.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm quite proud to hear what you've just said. Not quite. I am very proud because it was difficult, and it makes me, it's still to this day, it makes me laugh how people viewed you as a child. I mean, don't get me wrong, obviously in numbers, yes, you were a child, but you were so headstrong in terms of like, no, this is me. And I think a lot of the frustration came from not being heard or even like viewed as
a person.
I'm a female.
No, it actually is that. And I would say this as well, like a big thing with change, I think, is letting go of things, and that I find that hard. Like, there's this saying that me and my friend Maddie, like, we love it to death. It's like everything that has ever got away from me or that I've had to let go of has claw marks in it. So it's like everything that I've wanted, say like with Mom or like with the next boyfriend, like I had to let that go, but it's had claw marks in it because I want to keep it back.
Yeah.
So that, like, it resonates with me a lot. Because even though I'm happy to let go of things, but it's like everything that I've had to let go of is I've had claw marks in it.
I think that's probably one of the best things I've actually ever heard in this podcast.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I actually feel like all glazed over now. So I'm just thinking,
everything. Because you don't like to think of it as that, oh, like letting go is normal, like change is normal. But when it's something that you don't want to change or you don't want to let go of, it's like, it's horrible to think that I've tried so hard to keep this and it's just been taken.
And people do change.
Yeah.
But they will only change if they want to change.
Yeah, exactly.
And one of the questions, to be fair, like I'm going to ask you in a sec, but when I was doing like the research and stuff for the show, I kept circling around this question of like, what was the biggest changing or like the defining moment that like made you make that change? Yeah. And I really struggled with it because obviously my immediate answer was to go to when everything happened with Mom. Yeah. But I don't think that was when everything changed.
No, I don't think so either.
The changing point for me, especially being in the, and I'm not taking shots here, I'm making that perfectly clear now before this comes back on me in the way that I know it's probably going to. But I think the biggest change in me was when the real negative things were happening, like the threats were coming in, like we were getting kicked out of hospitals because we couldn't see Mom.
Stuff you can't deal with that.
No.
That isn't easy to just deal with.
No. But I think that's when I started to realise that no one is coming to save me. Yeah. Like no one is coming to, and I think that's when my mindset completely started to change to like, okay, I've tried to protect everyone. Yeah. I've took the brunt of this whole situation. Yeah. And it's leading me down a very dark path. Yeah. So when I started to notice the change in people's behaviour towards me, I was like, okay, I'm protecting you and Mom. Yeah. And then that's when I really started to notice, like, this is quite bad. Yeah. This is actually really, really bad. But I think over time now I look back at it and I was like, well, that was supposed to happen. Yeah. Because if I hadn't have made those decisions at the time that I did, I dread to think where all of us
would have led to, exactly.
But yeah, it was a big kind of realisation. Yeah. And there's one more that has just popped into my head and I struggled to even talk about this now. Okay. very early on into the situation,
Yeah.
there was obviously a lot of conversations had with, you shouldn't be living with me, this, that and the other.
Yeah.
One of the biggest changing moments for me, and to be fair, it wasn't even about me. This is going to make me sound like such a narcissist. But it was the day you got your GCSE results.
Yeah.
And then when you were like, oh, I've done all right. I was like, oh yeah, sound. She's found. Like we're going to Reading.
Yeah.
We can have a good weekend. And then when you read like the results
Yeah.
out, and it was like A, B,
Yeah.
B, like all these like really high marks, and I was like, do you know what?
Yeah.
That was all I needed.
There was no like way in how I was going to leave like you. Like they could have asked me to go live with anyone else. I would have said no, because I was like, how now am I leaving takeaways and
Takeaways and
RuPaul?
I knew that's what it was.
No, but it's just
Turkey dinosaurs.
You've been home
Yeah.
for all my life, so why would I leave that? Like, it's stupid.
It's bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah,
Looking back
how
at it.
bizarre.
But again, I'm just making it perfectly clear. That's not digs at anyone.
No.
It was just a real
It's our experience.
changing and defining
Yeah.
moment for me, for making me realise that I'm more than enough. Like
Yeah,
I'm
you
strong
are.
enough. We were raised by an incredibly strong,
Ferals.
feral woman.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
we were going to be okay.
Yeah.
To throw it at you a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
what is the changing moment or the defining change that you think kind of changed the course of your life so far?
God. See, I think with like the mum stuff, I'm pretty kind of like bulletproof to that.
Yeah, you are. You're
like,
a hell of a lot
I'm
more
fine
resilient.
with that. And this is going to sound so cringy, and I don't want to like be like an ex-partner, but I genuinely think it was like coming out of my last relationship that changed me, because I thought like no one can be this evil, no one can do these things, but then having it to experience that and then realizing for myself, I'm the only person that's going to get myself out of this. So if I don't like tell him to, then
Beep, beep.
yeah,
Sorry,
then
let
I
me
won't. I don't think I'm going to survive.
Yeah.
As horrible as it sounds, like it put me in such a bad mindset. But then one day I woke up and I was like, what am I doing? Like,
Yeah.
what in the hell am I thinking? Doing this to myself. I need to change, otherwise I'm not going to get better. My life is going to be shit. I need to stop this now. And I
Yeah.
think that's what changed me. And even now, like as soon as that happened, I was down for a bit, but now I'm like, I don't need anyone in my life. Like I don't even, not even in a romantic way. Like I genuinely need no one. And obviously I have like you and
But there's a difference
yeah,
there
like-
with that, isn't there? There's a difference in saying
Yeah.
I don't need anyone in my life. But there's certain things that I think certain people
Yeah.
rely on, like in relationship.
Yeah,
Like I've got friends who
definitely.
jump from relationship to relationship, this, that, and the other, which is fine. I'm not taking
Yeah.
again. I'm not taking digs at people, but people need certain things from other
Yeah.
people. I completely relate to what
Yeah.
you're saying. I don't think it's a negative.
Yeah.
But do you think it can be a negative having?
Yeah, I think definitely if it's kind of goes past the point where you are saying that and then you don't actually want to go and like explore things or I don't know, do whatever. Everyone's their own person, but I think it can become a negative then when you don't let out how you actually feel because you don't feel like you need to anyone. Because I've done that before. I think we've both done it before, where we keep it in and we don't speak on how we feel because we think it's not going to help anything.
Yeah.
But it does help. Speaking does help a lot.
Well, I only got to that point because of you.
Oh, I really got to that point because of you.
But no, but that's
Yeah.
the truth, isn't it? Like when I hit rock bottom and I was like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
It was you and Kerry Ann who were like,
Yeah.
you don't have to do this on your own.
No, you don't.
Like you need to talk about it. So
Yeah.
thanks.
That's all right.
But no, like honestly, I love the fact that we're sitting down and having this conversation because I
Yeah.
don't think we have it enough.
No, we
and
don't.
obviously it's recorded, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of accountability. So on those days when you are feeling shit,
Yeah, I
like
can go-
and subscribe, listen back to it, and just recognize that because
Yeah.
you are. And I think that's where a lot of my frustration came out towards you because you don't see what I see.
Yeah.
And I see a very strong,
Thank
demure,
you.
respectful, mindful
Mindful
woman that isn't going to take any shit.
Yeah.
Like, so it's genuinely actually an honor to
Thank
hear you
you.
say those words.
Thank
Fair
you.
play to you.
Thanks.
Of that defining moment though, and
Yeah.
obviously coming out of the relationship, how did you overcome it? Because obviously when you talk about change, people talk about the moment.
Yeah.
But I'm a big believer in people having the tools in their toolkit that, you know, if someone's listening to this who is going through a breakup or is thinking about breaking up or thinking, do you know what, fuck this, I don't want to be in this relationship. What tools did you use to overcome all of that?
Honestly, Taylor Swift.
No,
I'm joking. No,
you're not joking.
You're not.
Music.
It was
artists are available.
Music helped, but just honestly, like when I speak to my friends, I speak to different ones for different reasons, and they were all there, like, to support me a lot. But there is two, like Tash and Maddie. They will let me speak like anything at all, and honestly it'll be like the most disgusting, like wretched, not like that, but like awful thing that you could say, like that it would be something like that, and like I would say it to them over message and they would just be like, yeah, real, like and stuff like that. Fair like play. Just be like, you know what, very demure. Mindful. And it was just like stupid things like that, like you just need to get it out. So speaking to your friends, like, it sounds so like typical, but that helps so much. And just speaking to yourself in the way that you'd want someone else to speak to you is so important. Like when I was going through the breakup, I'd kind of be believing what he would view me as. So I wouldn't think I'd be good enough. Like, I wouldn't think this, and I would start to speak that to myself. But then I was like, wait, no, I'm like stunning. I'm cutesy. I'm slay the house down boots, like I'm everything. So, and I started saying that to myself, like I'd be like, yes, get it, and I'd have to do that. But then now I'm here like, yes, I'm cutesy and demure.
so mindful and respectful.
Exactly. So
I love that. It's and it's actually, we're laughing and joking about it, but like it's solid advice because you do need those friends that you can call up at that time and just be like,
do what?
I need to rant. I need to vent. I need to get this off my chest.
And even just screaming into a pillow, that helps so much. Yeah. I love that one.
Okay, try that one. What would you say was the biggest? Well, I mean, to be fair, you've kind of already answered this, but like, what was the biggest lesson do you reckon that you took from the breakup? Or to be fair, not even just the breakup, like say like the last kind of like few years, like what has been the biggest lesson that you're like, okay, I've learned from that?
I think this is a hard one. I think there's a couple that stick with me. Like, just, I always think of everything that's kind of happened over the past couple of months, and that I should always stick with what my gut and head is telling me. Because like I'd ignore these things because I thought it was for like the better or like what I wanted, but sometimes what you want you can't get, that isn't real. So taking a step back and thinking, is this real or is this not? And thinking, is my head and my gut telling me this is wrong? Then if it's wrong, don't do it. Like, that's a big lesson for me.
Just the gut.
Yeah, and even another one as well is kind of just making sure that you're in your own head. Not too much, but I think maybe with us in the past couple of months, like our relationship's got a lot better, and just making sure that I've took a step out of kind of like things that have happened in the past.
Yeah.
And thinking, is this doing me good? Where's this going to take me in the future? And then putting myself back in that moment and thinking, I need to do better. Yeah. You know?
No, it's big. And you know, I'm really grateful you said it because I really agree.
Yeah.
I feel like I actually feel like I'm, for the first time ever, I feel like I'm your big brother.
Yeah, no, I feel like that as well.
Which is
like, it's not.
Yeah. For anyone listening to this might think, like, what are you talking about? But obviously I played a very different role.
You're like a third parent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a huge part of life.
Yeah.
And it wasn't healthy for either of us.
No, I think we got to a breaking point where I was doing things anyway to just go against you in any way that I could. And I think...
But that's normal.
Yeah.
Like, you're not doing anything that in any normal family situation like you were growing up.
Yeah.
And it's very, to be fair, actually, this is a good talking point, 'cause I was actually talking about this today.
Yeah.
We weren't allowed to make mistakes.
No, exactly.
We weren't allowed to. Everything that happened, especially in the past, not to go over this stuff with mum, but like, we weren't allowed to make mistakes.
No, we weren't.
We were put under a microscope, like everyone had
Every
eyes on
single
us.
thing.
And one tiny little foot out of line, people were on us.
Yeah,
They've done this,
straight
they've
away.
done this, they've done this. Even down to like if we were to enjoy ourselves, it was like they've done
They're
this.
not allowed to do
They're not
that.
allowed to do this.
Yeah,
when I
it's
went to
just-
Bali, the
Yeah.
first message when I got off the plane, you've stolen all your mum's money and took all the staff to Bali.
Yeah. It's like, what? Excuse me.
I've been working full time throughout this whole process. Like I needed a break.
Yeah.
Not only me, I've took a staff as well.
Yeah.
It's mental. Yeah. You were just making mistakes. You were
Mm.
growing up, and in all honesty, like it wasn't nice.
Yeah.
But
I think
we
look
got
at
through
us
it.
now. Yeah. I think that's another big changing point that we've had. Like we've had our fights or whatever, but I think the time apart that we had, it did us so much good.
Yeah.
Like because it helped us kind of with ourselves as well. I think, well, for me anyway, it helped me with myself. Like I knew what I wanted then. Like my head is kind of on a set path now, which what I want to do, and just like even coming back together when we were like, we've always missed each other.
Yeah. No, but I actually missed you.
Yeah.
Like, and I wasn't just saying that, like, oh, you know, if I've been away for a few days or
like,
you've been
miss
away,
you.
like, oh, I miss you.
No, it
like,
was
I
genuine.
actually missed you.
Yeah.
And I do kind of want to say almost like sorry a little bit, because there was that, as much as you were rebelling, I think I was overprotective to a point where it was almost suffocating.
That's how you've always been, though. Not like suffocating, but
But sometimes I felt like that, you know, in Mean Girls, that mom.
yeah.
That's how I felt. So, you know, now looking back,
yeah.
I was just like, oh, what you're up to, like constantly wanting to know where you were, what you were doing. Not because like I actually wanted to know, just because I was like clinging on to my youth a little bit. But no, it's really nice to now feel like a big brother, and to see you now so healthy, so headstrong, and so like, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Like genuinely as a big brother, and that weird parental thing, I'm just like, you go
on
like
then,
go
Dad.
off and do it. You know that
I know
I'm
that
always
anyway.
here.
Yeah,
And
of
vice
course.
versa. Like you're the first
always.
person that if anything comes
I'm
through,
your biggest
like
fan.
biggest fan, but don't listen.
Yeah.
Cool. This is a big question.
Okay.
And still on the topic of change.
Yes.
If you could change absolutely anything, like whether it's personally or in the world, what would it be?
I don't think I'd change anything for myself, you know?
Really?
Yeah.
What shitty
Because
attitude.
I've had this question before, like it was a bit different, like about
On
pills.
another podcast?
No, like just from when I was out or whatever.
Yeah.
Like just say for like example, like appearance or something. Like what would you change? And I wouldn't change anything. But I think it relates to this as well. Like I wouldn't change anything in my life. Maybe like I'd like to be like 3 months forward. I don't know. Just,
Okay.
Do you know,
Yeah.
I think I'd be in a bit of a
more
better,
settled.
Yeah, a bit more
Yeah.
settled. But honestly, other than that, no. In the
respect
world, I'd
that.
change a lot. But in my world, nothing.
Yeah.
I'm in my own
live
little
in
world.
La, 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 la. No, I like that. Oh, I came with like a really sad.
Oh, God. What do you think?
I would change my body. I know that sounds like, really,
Yeah.
and I know I can, I know this stuff like that, but like I've got, and I think I always have been, like really unhappy in the body that I'm in, which I'm working through.
But sometimes when it comes to like your body, like I think a lot of people don't realise that your body is your body, but you can't just change it that easily. Like you can't say if you're working out or losing weight, everyone's body is so different and we don't all work the same. So I think a lot of people don't realise that, say if like you are working out, I know you've been doing that for all your life pretty much.
Working out?
Yeah, well you go to the gym.
All my life?
No, well not all your life, but yeah, once. No, but like you go to the gym, like you're very mindful, like with
Very demure.
with like stuff you eat and stuff. But it's a big thing. Like, and not everyone's happy, but you never are going to be fully happy if you have a goal in mind.
Oh God, no.
Because you're just going to be
I
wanting
think the wrong
more.
child, the wrong sibling started the podcast. Thank you, because that's really nice.
Yes.
Really nice. What a lovely little
You're
conversation.
perfect. No, you're not.
Just a little clink.
Yeah,
Clink, clink, clink. Woo, woo, woo. Music has played a God, that prosecco is really kicking in. Music has played a huge part in both of our lives.
Yeah, it has.
It's always been there, like the good, the bad, the ugly,
Yeah.
everything in between. It has been there. But one of the questions that I love asking each one of my guests is if there was a song that would soundtrack it all, like if there was a movie made of your life so far, what song would be like the end titles?
Oh God, I feel like it's just Taylor Swift again. But it's a song called "You're on Your Own, Kid."
Yeah,
and it's even just
more.
Just the title is. But I listened to it. Like the album Midnights came out when I was in Milan by myself, and I heard that song. That song came on, and honestly, I cried straight away because it was like just amazing hearing it. Like you're on your own, kid. You always have been, but it's like just living life and realizing actually, I'm on my own. I always have been, but at the start it's sad because it's. But then it's like you realize then when it comes to like the bridge and the end of the song, it's like no, I'm on my own. Always have been, and I'm fine. Yeah. So that song, like.
I think it's spot on. Yeah. Because I think there is something very powerful in. It's not even lonely.
No, it's
like being alone. There's a real big difference.
Yes, going from loneliness to being alone and being content with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
I know.
This all sounds kind of obviously a bit dramatic, but I feel like I know the answer to this one. I don't want to presume this one. But if there's a song that is guaranteed to get you on the dance floor.
Timber.
I was going to say, should we do it at the same time?
You know, with that one straight away.
It's going down.
Always been like.
Yeah.
Because that's just our song.
It's been a constant, actually. And everything now is like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, I love, like, even there's like motivational speeches on TikTok and like Instagram.
I need to go and see him.
I know. He never comes to the UK.
Know.
We'll work on that.
Yeah,
like, surely now I've got a number one.
Yeah.
It's more than he's. No, I'm joking. Timber went to number one.
Yeah.
What song, if there is one, would you like to wrap in chains, kick to the bottom of the ocean, and never hear again?
Dance Monkey.
Oh, I remember
that goes without saying.
I remember. Do you know what I'm going to say?
Yeah, I do.
As someone's 30.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that song was playing and
I was
like rage.
Yeah, I was not happy at all. That's like a big one for me. I hate that song.
We came away with a lot of food that night.
Yeah, we did. Because of that song.
And crockery.
Yeah.
A lovely chopping board.
Yeah, lovely.
What was the second one?
It's Show Me Love. Robin. Do you know what
Robin S.
Yeah, because that's one of Mum's favourite songs. But whenever I hear that song, all I picture her is at a family party dancing. And you know, like Mum dancing? Like that. It makes me, it rages me.
Did you ever hear that she nearly came on the show?
No, I thought you meant...
Not Mum.
Yeah, I was like, what?
No, Robin S. nearly came on the show.
I would have walked in and been like, no.
Get out.
Get out.
But she was the only one that, and it was quite, from what you've just said, it was one of Mum's favourite songs. Yeah. Like we used to obviously play Mum music when she was in the coma and stuff. So obviously that song was still kind of doing the rounds when we were kind of going through Hal.
Exactly.
And I got told what to ask and what to say. Oh. And she's the only person who I've reached out to ask to come on the show and then made the decision to be like, no. Because that's not what it's about. Like, I want the conversation to be free flowing and we've just kind of lived through a real horrendous situation where we weren't being listened to or being told what to say and stuff.
Don't try and tell me, Robin.
Robin S. Thank you.
That's not showing love.
Show me love. Show you the door.
Exactly. Show you this.
Banger though.
Yeah, no, it's not. I hate it.
Honestly, this has been really nice, actually.
Yeah, it's fun.
Like, my face is actually... It's addictive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fun.
Good. Is there any parting words or like final bits of wisdom that you'd like to share with us?
No, not really. I don't know.
Sound.
Peace out, bitches.
And on that note, thank you for joining me for a
okay.
waffle.
Thank
It's
you
been
for having
lovely.
me.
Remember, tickets for... I hate this bit.
Tickets for London. Go and get them. There's only 30 being sold, so get your hands on them quickly. Woo! I'll do it for you.
Yeah, sound sorted. Cheers. Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Ta-ra!